ADA, we start with 1 hour chart. Okay, first of all, we refer to our analysis because of what we were expecting has happened. Now we get this up move. All right. If we refer to our analysis, since the price was within this move, we put these two line, which is the first one 1.088, the another one was almost 1. And we mentioned we looking for the price to drop. And this is where we did looking. And we mentioned when the price drop, the first line which we put here, if we see there is a breakout, the second one, any reversal we can look for buy. All right. When the price was here, we mentioned there is a breakout. And as we can see, this is what we were expected. We put our line almost in 1.004. Okay, as we can see, exactly the price tag and reverse. Okay, we mentioned if we get after the breakout of this line, if the price tag, the price we're looking for, any reversal we can look for buy. Okay, depends on the traders whether they put the entry here on this price, or as I mentioned, if you want to be safe, we can look for the reversal. This is what we get: sharp move flag. Every time I mention sharp move flag, we can take the trade, and this is the another what we get. I know we want to see whether this one can give us another trade or not. The only question is what we have here, because we were expecting the price to break out this one for continuation. Okay, first of all, I have moved to higher time frame because I want to point on how we have been looking for the chart and what we get. And this is the things how we could get the price and exactly the same price. The price, I mean, we indicated the from there it could reverse. All right. Now, based on daily chart, we have nothing to say. Whenever we point on daily chart, we mention that we are in a correction. We want to see how deep it can be. But when we move to forward chart, all right, since the price, no, I want to just point, I mean, refer to what we have been looking for and what we get and what we I like how we analyze the chart. Just very simple analysis. Okay, just I make it very simple just for traders there for the information, because since the price was within this move, we mentioned we can expect the price for continuation. That's why when the price was, we pointed this one in relative to this, we mentioned we need to get the correction for price to break this low to confirm that this move is finished. And even we point on the indicators, we see whether we have a reversal point or divergence or not. Okay. And whenever the price was within this move exactly here, and even within this move, I was keep mentioning we have to get one move down to break this low. Okay, even the price, when the price was within this move, we point on these corrections. Okay, and exactly when the what's happened. That's why most of the trade, I mean, I get a lot of the comments that they ask me is the price is not going to break this low. Okay, what I want to say is that sometimes we have to let the correction finish itself before we look for the reversal. Okay, that's why when the price was within this move, I mentioned we have to get one more correction for one more drop. And what we get here, then later we explain about what we getting here, what we have it, and why this one become more complex. And this is what we get. And even we mentioned based on, because based on 1 hour chart, we indicate the price to break, to tag one and reverse the price, which what I'm referring to. And when we analyze based on 4 hour chart, I mentioned there is a possibility of the price to break the trend line, but we don't need to care about that because it is as an indicative. That's why I mentioned if there is a breakout of the trend line and there is a correction below the trend line, the next level we expect the price to drop is 0.9. Now the question is whether this is a start or we expecting for the deeper correction for one move down. And even we mentioned the breakout of the top, this is what we put. Okay, this one is based on if the price become more corrective, if we get more deeper correction. Okay, but if we move to 1 hour chart, exactly when the price was here, we mentioned what we were expected is happen. And what I mentioned, we have to look for the reversal. The point is when I mentioned we have to look for the reversal with a sharp move and flag, exactly this is what I wanted. Sharp move and flag. Even sometimes I point on this. I mentioned what we have to look for similar to what we have here. Just I pointed similar to. Okay. Now, some of the traders, they leave the comments where they have to buy. Okay, those traders they can take the risk. Me, they bought here. Okay, but For me, I mentioned in my analysis, we have to look for the reversal. This is what I pointed. Okay, now we get all the things we wanted. We want to see what's the next. Whether we can look for this one for one move up, or still this one can turn to a bigger correction. We need to know all the different possibility and how we can look for the next trade. That's why every time we point on the different option, different possibility, and whatever happen, how we can predict the next move. Okay, but no, the only question I have it. This is what I get. All right, because if we didn't have this move, simply we could say this one can give us one move, at least to retest the top or here. Because we point on these two, even right now you can see we have two line here. Okay, but right now we can see this simply the one move tag and almost tag and reverse. Okay, now we want to see how we can trade and what's the next. Now we want to see what's the next, as I mentioned, how we can trade it. Okay, first of all, we point on if you want to look for the divergence, okay, we put this one in relative to this. First of all, we have a divergence, and based on 1 hour chart also we have it. And if you put this one in relative to this, if I clear everything, these three in relative to each other, 1 hour chart we have nothing, and sorry, based on the MACD, and this one also we don't have anything. Okay, now why we put this one in relative to this? Because usually when we have the, I mean, we should compare these to each other, because we're looking at the bigger chart rather than we putting all these things in relative to each other. Okay, no, in this case we move with the higher time frame. Again, based on daily chart, the only thing is we want to see, I mean, we're looking for the reversal. I cannot say anything here. All right, we move to forward chart. Okay, first of all, again, we check these two in relative to each other based on forward chart. We have a divergence, and also we have here. Okay, how we can look at this? Whether this is the only correction, only move, and this is the start of the reversal, or we can put this one as a first move, this one as a one more corrective. I'm the corrective correction in relative to this, and this one can then give us one more drop. That means if there is a next drop, easily price can drop to 0.9. We cannot confirm right now, but we can expect. Why? Because there wasn't, the price couldn't break this top. And as we can see right now, we need to see whether this one can give us one more trade to break the top or not. Even if the price the break at the top, still we can expect. Okay, first of all, if I consider as this one as 1, 2, 3, okay, one thing I need to highlight here. In our analysis, we were expecting this one to get similar to what we have here. If we have this kind of this, if we didn't have this part, okay, we had a running flat. When the price there was a breakout of this low, we could expect this is the only correction. But right now, when I have this big corrective move within these three waves, still I can put this one in relative to this. And one more thing, when I put this one in relative to this, if we refer to the indicators, we don't see anything. All right, that's why. Now I can say that I have 1, 2, 3. This is the first move. And when we put internally this one, we see 1, 2, 3 internally in relative to this. And right now we have this. That's why I mentioned the price still can continue tag, and this one become correction in relative to this bigger correction. And if the price from here or even move a bit higher, the best is if take the top. Next down, easily we can look for the breakout, and even the price can take this one. Sometimes it's just the price break the low and reverse. Okay, the reason is still we're looking for continuation, but if we get any buy, we see the prices start to correct, is not moving fast, we should be aware that this one can turn to whatever I mentioned right now. Okay, but right now if you want to trade, still we're looking for up move. The only times is if the price turn to a corrective move, similar to whatever we have here, we had here. Okay, and right now, still we can expect for the continuation with the breakout of this top, which is 1.226. The next target we're expecting is 1.31. All right. If we're getting and we're looking any buy, that's why we want to see whether the price can break the top or not. Rather than that, we cannot see anything else. I mean, we don't have anything else to refer to. All right. And if I move to 1 hour chart, okay, what we are looking for, first of all, anyone is in the trade, whether from here or if anyone could get the trade at the lowest price. Right now, if they want to keep the trade, move their stop loss to break even. Now we want to see how we can trade this. The only thing is what there we have this one. This is the problem what we get here. Because right now we want to see whether this one tagged the top already near to the top, and or still we can expect the full continuation to break the top. Okay, it's like how we want to trade this. Okay, because if we didn't have this one at the top, we could mention one of the option to have entry above this. If the price sharply move, we take. But right now, whether we want to put the entry above here or here, it depends on the traders how they can manage it. Okay, but I cannot mention here, I mean, index analysis to put here or there. I mean, at this top or here. Okay, because I don't know the traders who are watching this one, whether they can manage the trade if the price tag and reverse or not. That in that case, I want to mention if we want to look for trade, if we get a deeper correction or more complex correction, or if we get a flat, then from the flat we can look for the entry. Okay, but what I want to say that any trade from here, if we get, we take it. And what we want the price to break out the top, which is 1.226. If we see the price, we get the trade price is not moving, it start to correct, as I mentioned, based on forward chart. This one can do a corrective for one more drop. We need to be aware of that. But we are over expectation in the product continuation. Okay. Now, if you want to trade this, one of the option is having three. Still, we put these two lines. If you wanna look for the next move, if the price sharply move, we can have entry whether at 1.196 or 1.226. But what we want the price tag break and continue. This is one of the options which is very risky, but we prefer to get the trade within this correction. That's why if this one tends to a deeper correction within this range, we can look for any trade setup based on lower time frame with a sharp move of flag. Okay, again, simply because of this. If not, I could look at this as a trade. Or this one, if give me one move up, one more drop, give me a flat. Then maybe we can have entry above the stop. Okay, now if we move to 15 minute, we see how we can trade based on 15 minute. This is what we have here. Okay, we have this one, the price drop. May this one give us one more drop. If this one continue, then if you want to trade, we can look for the breakout. Any breakout, as I mentioned, for next move. And if this, how about if also there is a possibility this one can continue and easily retest this low. That's why right now we cannot buy within this. Okay, that's why if you want to look for buy, whether this one turn to a deeper correction, we wait for the breakout, or this one turn to a flat. But right now I need to care about this. If my flat maybe give me a bit move up, then one more drop. I don't think I can get a really good trade setup. Okay, that's why the best things, if this one turn to deeper, any breakout, we take the trade, then we wait for the breakout of the stop. Okay, in this case, right now we don't have any good trade setup. Okay, simply I mentioned because of this part, because if there was a correction similar to what we have here, easily we could put an entry above the top, we wait for the next move. All right, now the thing is, first of all, we want to how deep this one can turn. And if we get any trade setup, we take it. And with the breakout of this top, which is here or here, if we see there is no continuation, we take the trade. And if this one turn to a deeper correction, it can give us better easily. I mean, easier to, I mean, if it can be more easier for us to take the trade setup rather than what we have right now. And right now we cannot buy. Okay, as I mentioned, based on lower time frame, this one can start to drop as a corrective. How deep it can go, we need to see. All right. Whatever I explain may become, whatever I mentioned here is like may too much, but what I wanted to mention here that if we want to trade from here, simply because of what we get here, we need to be quite careful. I cannot suggest to have entry above here or there. Just I can put it, the best way is to put there. Okay. And because again, I need to Sorry, because what I want to say is that if you look at this easily, we can compare this one we had, these two, even these two, if we put in relative to each other in terms of the length and time, they are not matched, but still we can put, and this one can be the one is almost break the top. That's why we can look for the reversal. Okay, again, I don't need to explain much because may make the traders quite confused. The only thing is we want to see whether we can get any trade setup from here or not. If we get any breakout of this top, if we see there is a no, I mean, if the price take the top, if you see there is a no continuation, we take out the trade. But what we are interested for continuation. Okay, and anyone is in the trade from here, they should move their stop loss to break even. If they see this is, I mean, the price is not moving, maybe they take out the trade. They wait for next trade.